Namaste everyone. So my niece is turning 6 and the theme for her birthday party is Alice in Wonderland, and what I've decided to do is make a little mini for her so her mom can add all the pictures from the birthday party of the birthday girl and such. So what I did was I went online and I was lucky that I found this freebie of pattern papers. In fact, it's a freebie to make the entire book. So I'll quickly show you what I downloaded, and it was completely free. So I'm going to post her link in my content down below, and you should check her out. And really thanks to her, I don't know her name, but then she has the she's designed the entire album and you don't need to do anything. Everything is done for you. She's got little envelopes and tags. So let me quickly just walk you guys through it. So let me go this way. This is the first page, and they're like this. What I did was I just printed them out on an A4 manila colored cardstock. This is my favorite color cardstock to work with, and I've already gone around and cut them and inked the edges and lined them up in the sequence that I want them. So this is going to be my first page, and I don't remember if it came with this design, but I punched out a lot of the holes and turned all of these pages. They're supposed to be double-sided, but then I turned them into envelopes. I'm going to be turning them into envelope style mini album, so that I'll have tags sliding in through these pockets. Then I'm going to turn them all into pages, pocket pages. So this is the first one. Look how cute that is, and it has little Alice here and some writing about that. So mine are not in the sequence that you're going to find on her blog, but I've arranged them in the way that I like best. So the second one is a little envelope. This came as is. I just printed it out and cut it and scored and folded them all, inked the edges. That's going to be my page number 2. This is page number 3. Look how cute that is. It's double-sided, and I chomped off this window and again to turn it into a pocket page. And then this one is so nice. Look at this, off with the heads. And you have the Queen of Hearts and Alice on the other side. I use my inkjet printer. I don't have a laser printer, but it worked pretty okay for these printouts. And it's going to be a mini, and I think they look fine, the prints. So I just really love this Harlequin pattern and this one here. So I have this one going here right next to the hearts, the spades. So I thought that looked nice. And then there's a little envelope of the Cheshire Cat. This is how it looks like. It looks like a popcorn bag, doesn't it? So you have this one, and this one goes next. This is as is. This already had a window, and this also came with the tag. So I'll show you that later when I'm going to be doing the embellishments. This is the other side of that. So then there's another envelope. This has the Mad Hatter and the table, and all of them sitting around the table. And then it says tea party here on the flap, and has these really nice chandeliers on it. And it goes that way. And this is the last one. And again, I'm going to just quickly punch out. I want my window to go here, so I'm just going to quickly punch out and show you how I did that. Just going to grab my circle punch and sort of eyeball the center and chomp that out. Then I'm going to just ink this quickly. And I like to ink the insides of my envelopes and pockets as well, because since this is going to be double-sided and these are going to, you know, attach onto each other, so I didn't want any manila colored outline showing. So very roughly, just a little bit around the edges, and that's it. So that's my little pocket page done. So this is the sequence I want my pages to go, and I'll show you next how I'm going to be binding this entire thing. And let me just grab my supplies. The style that I've decided for binding this mini is I'm going to use Kathy Ota's Hidden Hinge binding method, and I already have my hinge made. And what I've done is I'm just using really tiny hinges. I use 1/4 of an inch dimensions, so that's the gap between my hinges, and as well as the size of my hinges. They're all 1/4 of an inch, and since there are 6 pages and 3 envelopes, that's a total of 9. So I have 9 flaps here for my pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example of how I'm going to glue down my pages, and I'm going to show you an example with an envelope, and then I'm going to fast forward the rest, so you don't have to watch me gluing down all these pages into the spine. So that's how it looks here. It measures about 2.5. That's yeah, it measures about 2.5, and that's going to be the width of my spine, the final spine. Almost 3. It's almost 3 inches. Okay, so let me quickly show you. I'm going to start from the last page, so I'm just going to flip all my pages. I'm going to grab the last page, and that's the reason why to make it easier, and since I can in this album, I've not glued down the flap, so it's easy for me to stick them down to the hinges. Whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Something wrong with my glue. I'll just have to go and grab another one. So I grab a different bottle of glue, and this is a new one. Hopefully this one behaves. So what I'm going to do is the right side up, I'm going to add a thin line of glue to the bottom half like that. And I'm going to simply slide it into the last hinge, and I'm going to fold it over just to see that it's flush against it, and just hold it down. This is a quick drying glue, so won't have to wait a lot for it. Going to press it down with my thumb. I'm just going to check. I think it'll be easier if I do it the other way. Checking if I got it straight. I'm just going to just gonna slide it all the way into the hinge and hold it down like that. I think using a tape would have been easier and faster, but then I don't have a tape that was a quarter of an inch. And then now that's fairly stuck, and I'm going to use, what I've done is from the leftovers of these pages, I cut off 1 inch with wide strips, and then I scored them down at 1/2 inch. So I have these hinges, and I'm going to be using these hinges to create a little more room for my flaps. So what I'm going to do is simply measure my width and cut it off at an angle here, and simply with my glue again should have had it on this side, just trimming it off. And then just butt it up all the way to the edge of my paper. Just turn towards the light. And now just going to add a little glue on my hinge and on the top part of my spine, and just glue the entire thing down. And after this entire thing is dried, I'm just going to go over that little edge that you see with my ink, and I'm going to just ink it back to black. So ink will cover up all of that. This glue dries up transparent, so you won't see it. So moving on. The next page is an envelope. So for the envelope, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this bottom strip, because I'm already going to be gluing this part down to the spine, so I don't need this essentially. But before I do that, I just want to check it once, and that's okay. So I'm going to be just cutting this off. So these steps can vary from project to project. If you want to use a different sort of binding, you can. Then you might be needing this. If you use, say suppose, a bind it all or a Coptic stitch, which I had planned initially, but then somehow I thought I would go with this. So a little bit of calculation is required, because this envelope is a little smaller than my hinge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be snipping my hinge to fit the envelope. I'm just going to fold it off like that, and I'm going to mark the width of the envelope, so I know how much to cut. It's just a little piece. That's the reason why I'm using this binding method. This is really nice. I can customize it to fit my pages, and I can also have different sized pages going into the same hinge. So I'm just taking a little sliver off so that my envelope is centered to the spine, and that should do it. That's perfect. So again, with a little glue here and a little glue on my spine. Patting it up all the way into the spine. Make sure it's flush, and I'm just going to hold it down. Like that. So since it was an envelope and the template came as is, so I don't have to add an extra hinge. I already have a hinge here, so I'm just going to straight away glue the flap down. I'm just going to take a sliver off. So here you go, a little bit of glue. It's important to get the spine. This is better than score tape because this glue is very strong, and I know once it's glued on, it's there, it's not going anywhere. So I'm just going to wait for that to dry. And see how that just fits in there, and you don't even see the spine. You can't even make out that you cut it off from there. So that's perfect. Moving on to the next page. Something wrong. Okay. Again, same thing. Glue to your okay guys, so I'm back. I'm done with my pages. I've glued all of them down onto the hinge here, and as you can see, it got pretty thick. So we just quickly flip through all the pages once again. Here's the first one, then you have a little envelope here, then you have your second page, the third one, fourth page, then there's another envelope here. I added the tag. It looks something like that. This all came with her printables. And the fifth page also has a tag. It says drink me. And then there's another little envelope. I haven't added a tag here. And the last page. So that's it. The page is done. And join me again in the next video, and I'll show you how to attach this to the covers. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.